Assalamu alaikum. This is first lecture of microeconomics and our learning objectives are what is economics, classification of economics and scope of microeconomics. Before discussing microeconomics, I will give you an overview about economics. In 1776, an economist, Adam Smith, who was the pioneer of classical school of thought, he wrote in his famous book Wealth of Nation, in which he gave views and thoughts about consumption, production and distribution of wealth. He is known as the father of political economy because he was the first person who put all the economic ideas in a systematic way. After Adam Smith came Marshall Edgeworth, Clark and Pareto. They gave not only the idea of economic class but also economic welfare and humanity. But according to Robbins, economics is the science which studies human behavior as a relationship between ends and scars. Means that there are only limited number of resources like workers, machines, factories and raw materials, etc. But they have unlimited wants and desires because money is limited, so unable to satisfy all its wants. Basically, economics is a social science that studies the production, distribution and consumption of goods and services. Economics focuses on the behavior and interactions of economic agents and how economies work. Next, how we classified economics. Basically, economics based on theoretical economics and applied economics. Further, we will divide theoretical economics into parts: normative economics and positive economics. And in positive statements, we describe what was, what is, and what would be under the given set of circumstances. For example, you can say that what is the wage rate, what is the GDP rate, what is the inflation rate in last year. And in normative economics, which describes what ought to be, what should be, we give some suggestions like price should be stable, inflation rate should be controlled. And further, in positive economics, we study about microeconomics, macroeconomics and mathematical economics. And in microeconomics theory, which deals with small picture of the economy, and macroeconomics deal with the whole economy. Microeconomics is a study of individuals, households and firms' behavior in decision making and allocation of resources. It generally applies to markets of goods and services and deals with individual and economic issues. Basically, micro means small, and it represents the small picture of economy, small units like an individual, consumer, firm or an industry. In microeconomics, we will study about how an individual can behave, how a firm takes decisions to make maximum profit and minimize cost. So in microeconomics, we will study about decision of individual firms, how factors influence individual economic choices, and decision of individual households, how demand and prices are determined in individual market, decision of individual consumers. Macroeconomics is a branch of economics that studies the behavior and performance of an economy as a whole. It focuses on the aggregate changes in the economy such as unemployment, growth rate, gross domestic product, and inflation. So macro means large, and it presents the large picture of the economy, and deals with the study of aggregates, for example, national income of a country, employment, savings, and in investment. So macroeconomics study economy wide phenomena. Now here is the difference between microeconomics and macroeconomics. Microeconomics, it deals with an individual economic behavior, and macroeconomics, it deals with aggregate economic behavior of the people in general. So in micro we study about um, only small picture of economy, and in macroeconomics we will study about large picture of economy. It deals with next is it deals with the pricing of a particular commodity in an industry, and it deals with the general price level in the economy, national income, accounting, etc. Price is the basic parameter of microeconomics, and income is the basic parameter of macroeconomics. Study of microeconomics is important for resource utilization, public finance, and for taking business decisions. So microeconomics study important in resource utilization, public finance, and for taking business decisions. And macroeconomics is important for formulation of economy policy of the whole nation. Economic model. An economic model is a simplified version of reality that allows us to observe, understand, and make predictions about economic behavior. A good model is simple enough to be understood while complex enough to capture key information. Sometimes economists use the term theory instead of model. The law of demand and the law of supply are represented in one very commonly used economic model. In these models, we discuss the behavior of individual units of economy like consumer, firms, and factors of production. These models helpful in understanding the working of a firm, behavior of a consumer, determination of prices of goods, determination of factor prices, etc. In microeconomics, we have consumers demand model, the model of consumers behavior, and the model of um, demand and supply, and the model of firm behavior. A consumer behaves like he has limited sources and unlimited desires. How a consumer can fulfill his desires from limited sources, and a firm goal is maximize profit, and how a firm can maximize his profit uh, and minimize his cost, and how in market forces like supply and demand determine prices. So in supply and demand model um, we will discuss how um, demand and supply forces determine prices. Macroeconomics models consist of aggregates like aggregate consumption, aggregate investment, national income, and general price level, etc. Macroeconomics models are mostly employed in economic planning. So you can see that in this picture here are two sectors, household and firms. So household provides workers and laborers to firms, and firms produce goods and services and provides goods and services to household. So household receives goods and services from firms and pays money pays money of goods and services to firms, and firms gives wages and rents uh, to households, and household receives income from firm. So this is also called circular flow or microeconomic model, because movement from household to firm and firm to household. Next is scope of microeconomics. In microeconomics, we will study price theory, theory of consumer behavior and demand, theory of production behavior, theory of firm behavior, theory of cost and revenues, theory of market structure and behavior, theory of general equilibrium and welfare economics. Price theory. Here question arises that, and this is also called the economic problem, regarding what is to be produced, how it is to be produced, and how the resources be allocated amongst the different competing uses. Basically, this is the price mechanism, and those goods will be produced by the producer which maximize their profits, and those techniques will be adopted which minimize their costs of production, and the resources will be allocated in those uses where the resources command higher prices. Theory of consumer behavior and demand. As everyone has to face the problem of multiplicity of wants and limited money. So a consumer has unlimited wants and limited money, and it is desire of each consumer to maximize his satisfaction from uh, limited resources. Theory of production behavior. Each student of economics is well aware of it. The four factors of production, as I also uh, told you in physical class, like land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur. These factors are responsible for productive activities. According to classical economists, in short run, the production depends upon the units of labor only, and uh, we fix capital. But in long run process, all factors of production move. Theory of firm behavior. Like a consumer, the firm also wants to attain equilibrium, while the equilibrium of the firm is attached with minimization of cost or maximization of output. So these situations are also known as optimum combination of firm. So firm choose a uh, optimum combination, where firms profits are maximum and firms costs are minimum, because firm's goal is to maximize his profit and minimize his costs. Theory of costs and revenue. In microeconomics, we study different types of costs of production. So costs of production may be short run point of view or maybe long run point of view. Theory of market structure and behavior. So in market structure, we will discuss perfect competition, monopoly, duopoly, oligopoly, and monopolistic competition. And in perfect competition, there are large number of buyers and sellers. Here prices set by market forces, demand and supply. And in monopoly, here is one seller, and monopoly, here firms entry is strictly banned. In duopoly, only two firms, and in oligopoly there are few firms. And in monopolistic competition there are large number of buyers and sellers, but less than perfect competition. Theory of income distribution. The national income of a country is the result of joint efforts of land, labor, uh, capital and organization. So income should be distributed among us four factor of production equally. 4 factors of production like land, labor, capital and organization.